Hey everyone, I'm Dan Gorgone, marketing and business teacher here at Treehouse, and I'm joined by a special guest today for a careers workshop. Our special guest is Chapman, author of Amazing Things Will Happen. Thanks for coming, man.
No, I'm psyched to be here.
What can you tell us about the book, Amazing Things Will Happen, and how it can help anyone out there, especially designers and developers, with their careers?
So I wrote Amazing Things Will Happen to focus on the fact that we all, we're not given a guidebook on how to live our lives, and especially on the job front. Mm-hmm. I've been someone who's kind of, shaped my own career from day one, and I believe anybody can do that. Once you know what you want to achieve, once you realize, this is the path I want to go down, this is my end result, I want to start a business, or I want to freelance as a designer or a developer for a while. Once you know where you're trying to go, then you can make it happen. And the book lays out step-by-step instructions on how you can go from figuring out exactly what it is you want to do to then actually making that happen. And then once you're there, once you've reached some of those career goals, how to enjoy it and give back to the world and maintain a lifelong love of what you're doing.
Gotcha. Well, I know there's plenty of our members out there who they're just getting started.
Yep.
They're just getting started learning about different kinds of technology here at Treehouse. And some of them are more advanced. Some of them have already started looking for freelance opportunities and consulting, and some of them are actually involved with day-to-day business, be it their own or someone that they work with. Now, how can they take some of the activities and lessons that are in this book and apply them to their job, their career, their business?
Yeah, so I wanted to write a business book or a motivational book, depending on what you want to call it, that anybody could use. And so the advice in it is very practical, very straightforward to say, as far as we walk through some exercises that'll help them define what it is they really want to do for a career, then how they can take it to the next level and maintain it going forward. It's very straightforward. It's not focused on any one industry, because I didn't want to write a book that, only creatives or only executives. I wanted it so that, whether you're a mom or a college student or someone who's already running a successful business but wants to take it to the next level, that they could read it and get something out of it.
Gotcha. So one of the activities in the book is called Simplify, Focus, and Attack. And it may sound sort of self-explanatory at first, but there's, to be able to focus on what it is that you want to do, whether it's a career path or whether it's a project or whether it's a business goal, it seems like there's a lot that you can do with this activity. What can we learn from this?
Yeah, so I'm one of those guys who always has a million things going on. So the simplify, focus, attack approach has always been something that I try to do and try to live. And what it means is that, if you have a million things on your plate, you're never going to get them all done. Something's going to suffer. So that, you simplify, get it down to a couple, especially, let's focus on the career side.
Sure.
Right? If you're looking to take your job to the next level or even get a new job, right? Simplify down what it is exactly what you want. Do you want to keep doing the same thing you're doing now? Is it to step up into a new realm of designing or developing? Maybe it's starting your own business. Really simplify it down to a couple key objectives of things you want, because then you can focus on them. Because when it's the shorter the list, I don't know about your to-do list, my to-do list on any given day is way too long. So simplify it down to those ones you can focus on. And then the last step is the most crucial, and it's the one people skip on. They actually don't attack. They don't do the work. They don't make it happen. Making a list is easy. Putting in the time to make those things happen, not so easy. So that's why you simplify it down, you focus on what you're trying to do, and then you attack and get it done.
Now, part of that focus means taking a good, hard, and honest look at personal needs and personal obligations.
Yeah.
And no matter what it is that you want to do, there's always things that are getting in the way, whether it's, short-term things like, I gotta take my kids to soccer practice, or longer-term concerns like financial, things like I have to pay back student loans, or, how am I supposed to do this if I've got this in the way? How can you take your simplify, focus, and attack approach and be able to sort of put those concerns, those needs and obligations in the right context to move forward?
Yeah, so one of the exercises I talk about is stepping through and really figuring out what it is in your life that you have to take care of. Me having 2 kids and a wife and a mortgage, I've got a lot more responsibilities than maybe a college student, but they've got, student loans, they've got rent, they've got other things. Because let's face it, I hate these people who give advice, say, oh, just jump off the cliff, jump into whatever you want to do. That's dangerous and stupid, because yeah, they might work out in the long run, but you could also be throwing yourself to the sharks. Right. So really take an honest look, Write down all the things that you've got to take care of. Get really specific. Here's my budget I got to cover on a month-to-month basis, because you don't want to end up on the street. But then again, maybe one of the options is, get roommates. There's always alternatives. But if you don't actually take the time to look at those things and write them out and really focus on them, you're never going to know. You're just like, oh, maybe you can do it. It's never going to be the right time. It's like having kids. It's never the right time. You never have enough money and time, but you'll make time for the things you believe in.
So from a project point of view, I think we can also take simplify, focus, and attack and apply it towards projects as well. So from a project management type of methodology, let's say, for example, that the designers and devs out there, this is probably a common issue that comes up, is you have someone come to you with a project that they want built, a website, say a portfolio project, for example. How can we take simplify, focus, and attack and apply it to a project like this? What's a good way that we can apply this methodology?
Sure. So as you're sitting there talking to your clients, clients are always going to they want everything, right? They want it all,
right, and
they can't pay for it all. So sitting down with them and actually saying, okay, what are the top 5 things? Let's simplify it. Let's narrow down to the 5 things you must have in this site. And then what I like to do is talk about, what are the nice to have things, that second tier, because then you can focus on the things that really matter, and it focuses them. It's one of those exercises that it doesn't matter what sort of project you're working on with a client. If you get them to actually talk about what is it that they really, really need, it'll let them focus, and then it allows you to attack the things that they want the most.
So in terms of applying a degree of focus to a career, one of those things that can really help put a lot of things in focus is self-assessment, right? Now, self-assessment it's so important, and it's not something that you just do at the beginning of a career, like when you're going in high school. And I know plenty of people probably taken these self-assessment tests in high school or maybe at some point in college. But self-assessment is important throughout your career, isn't it?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, if you're not looking at where you are and what you're doing on a regular basis, you're never going to be happy and you're never going to get anywhere. I try to, a lot of companies will do it as far as if you're working for somebody, it's the year-end review. That's when you look at it and someone judges you. But honestly, don't wait for other people to assess your career. Look at it yourself. Figure out, am I on the right track? Am I getting where I need? Should I take more classes to learn a new language? Should I take more here on Treehouse, to take my skills to a new level? The more you do that self-assessment, and don't just wait, don't do it on a calendar. Everybody does it in December, looking for the new year. Figure out what works for you and be looking at it on a constant basis.
Now, one of the activities and amazing things will happen is the 3-word exercise. And I know that you talked about this exercise sort of being inspired by the New Year's resolutions that you saw online. Can you explain how that activity sort of came about?
Yeah, sure. So the 3-word exercise is something that I learned from another writer. And what he always did was, instead of New Year's resolutions, which I'm not a fan of either, he would figure out 3 words for the year, 3 themes to focus on. And what the exercise is really simply is you lay out all the words, you kind of do a brainstorm, kind of a mind map of all the terms you're focusing on for, you want to achieve in the new year. And then you start looking for themes, you narrow it down, you simplify it, you focus on it, and then you get down to 3 words that you're going to focus on for the year, and you attack, and you make it happen.
Now, it seems like something that would be especially helpful for personal philosophy, a professional direction. I bet you could even apply it towards the types of projects, the types of clients that you want to seek out. When it comes to careers, how can we take the 3-word exercise and apply it towards the career search, sort of directing our career path, so to speak?
Sure. So let's step through the exercise as if we were looking for a new job.
Sure.
That a designer or developer is looking for a new job. Now, one of the things where we would start is, of course, you want to make more money, you want more flexible hours, you want to work shift, all those things. I mean, those things are what we all want. Those are not the things to focus on because we know we need those. So what you would do first is you would actually write down all the things that you really want out of this new job. Maybe it's more challenging. Maybe it's more responsibility. You want to start managing people. You want to learn a new programming language. You want to expand your portfolio. Write all those down and do not be held back. Just write them down. Take the time, take a notebook, take a whiteboard, wherever it is, and write everything that comes down. And take a week. Take some time to really focus on it, because this is your master list you're going to work from. Once you've got those, what you should start doing is actually, when I do it on a whiteboard, what I do is, grab different colored markers and start circling if there's any themes. Look, this kind of focuses on the sort of responsibilities I want. And over here is maybe the locations. Maybe I want to move. I want to uproot my family and do something new.
Or creativity.
There's so many different things. It's up to you to figure out if there is any themes that are grouping them together. Because your next step is to actually take it and start chopping them down, because the goal is to get down to 3 phrases or words. In this case, where we're doing a career search, maybe it won't be individual words, maybe it'll be phrases, like managerial responsibility or stronger creativity. But you want to narrow it down so that way, at the end of it, what you're hoping for is that you've got these 3 really important things for what you want out of the next job. And where that becomes important is as you start interviewing with people, if you're not asking questions in an interview, you're not going to get the job. That's one of the rules of interviewing for jobs. But when you've got these 3 things that you know what? These are the really important things. You can sit down there and ask those specifically and say, hey, is there a chance for me to do this here? Because that's going to show that you've focused on what you really want. This isn't just another job. This is actually something you want, and it sets up for that career path. And if you go in and you've taken the time to go through this exercise, and you go in and you get no's on all those 3 things, that's not the right job for you. And too many people jump based on the salary or based on something, that short term is great, don't get me wrong. But long term, eventually you're not going to get what you need out of it, and you're going to be back at these words again. So
I bet you could take these 3 words that you come up with through the activity, and if you've really been honest with yourself and you really focus on what it is that you want, you could apply it not just towards the interviews, but take it a step back. You can look at the companies. You can do you want to do research anyway before you go out and even submit a cover letter or a resume. But when you're looking at job opportunities and you see what's out there, this is almost like doing personal keyword research on yourself, on what you want, right?
Yeah, and you should be investigating companies. If you're not looking at the companies, if you're not going out to both their websites, their social media profiles, their LinkedIn company pages, which now companies have, if you're not taking the time to actually research the companies, you're going to find out that the culture doesn't mix. And granted, you can only find out so much before you're actually there on site. But when you know what you want, it makes researching these companies a lot better. You got to get beyond the name. Ooh, that's a great company. That sounds awesome. May not be a great fit for you.
So, aside from the activities that we just talked about, Amazing Things Will Happen has all kinds of different lessons, different things that you've collected along your own personal journey from many different people. What are some of the other things that people can learn from the book that can have a real benefit on their career path?
Well, there's a lot of things. I mean, one of the chapters is called "Rules Are Like Rubber Bands." The fact that sometimes there are rules that are just put in place that no one's ever changed for any reason, and figuring out a way to bend them without breaking them gets you ahead in the world a little bit. I also talk about something that I have to give credit to Derek Sivers, a great entrepreneur and musician. He does what he's called the Hell Yeah test, where if you're thinking about, should I take this freelance gig or should I take this job? If you've kind of been like, maybe, did it? He says, if you can't say, hell yeah, I want to take that, then maybe you shouldn't take it.
Right.
And then that's tough when you're looking for a paycheck or you've got other commitments. But if you get to a point in your career and you will have those decisions where it's not a life or death decision, it's just, you need to make a call. I think that test is something that more people need to do, because trust me, if you pass on that opportunity that you're not that excited about, there's probably another opportunity coming along, and there's nothing worse than saying yes to something that you're not excited about, and then that exciting one comes, and you have to pass on it because you're committed to the other one. So, pick your battles. Do something you love.
But it's difficult to get your energy up for projects that you're kind of It's hard, or regardless of whether the money is there or not.
And we all have to take them. We all have to take them from time to time. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, if it was all unicorns and rainbows, life would be a lot better. But it's not. Sometimes you have to take the project, and you have to do it, and you slug through. But when you get to that point where you have the opportunity to have a little bit more control, and a little bit more decision, if you're doing work that you actually love, it's a lot easier.
So, final words of advice. Advice for the first timers out there, or if you could go back in time and tell yourself, you're going to start your career path. Here's something that you need to consider that's going to direct you it points you in the right direction. What would you tell yourself?
Wow. If I was to go back and tell me, the career, when I talk to a lot of college students, I do a lot of speaking to students, and what I always tell them is, especially right out of college. Everybody jumps to that first job that sounds great. Take the time. That's the time, because it's usually the time you don't have as many commitments as you're going to have later in life.
Right.
Take the time, take the extra couple of weeks, the extra couple of months to get that first job to be right. But also realize that no matter what your first job is, you're not going to be there forever. It's not like the old days. I thought when the company I started working for right out of college, I thought I was going to be there 10 years. I ended up being there 4, but but it's not going to happen. So take the time to find something that you really like and realize what it is you like. Just because your parents, just because your teachers or society tells you you should be going down this path, it's not. If that's not the path you want to be on, you're eventually going to get, discouraged and leave. And it's a lot easier to start down the path in the beginning. So don't be scared. It is scary. It's a lot of hard work, but do it. Just do it, right? Nike had it right. Just do it.
You got it. So where can people find this book, and where can people find more information about you?
Sure. So I'm easy. I'm all over the web. cc-chapman.com is my site where you can find everything I do. Amazing Things Will Happen is available everywhere books, ebooks, and audiobooks are sold. So go down to your local bookstore and buy it. Not the big chain. Support indie bookstores. It's a big pet peeve of mine. Support them. They need the business. And if you read it, let me know. I'd love to hear what you think.
Cool. Thanks for coming, Cece.
Thanks, man.
Cece Chapman, I'm Dan Gorgone. Thanks for watching this workshop. We'll see you next time.